This is NBC10 Boston News Tonight.
A snowy start to the week with a bitter blast. The wintry mix headed straight for us.
Plus, accused of groping a teenager.
Tomorrow, Kevin Spacey will face a judge. His day in court happening here in Nantucket. We're live from the island. Also,
Refusing to fund a border wall, but what about a fence?
We'll build a steel barrier.
Putting pressure back on the Democrats as we head into week 3 of the government shutdown.
The ball comes out.
And the stage is set next week. It's the Chargers visiting the Patriots.
And running out of food, turning people away at the door. A piece of Boston history closing up for good. NBC10 Boston Weekend Tonight starts right now.
All right, and starting things off with your first alert weather. The temperature's about to take a plunge. Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Malaire.
and I'm Phil Lipoff. First the freeze, then the snow. Meteorologist Pete Bouchard here with the timeline. Pete.
You think winter would come back, right? You think winter's here once again. This is not a huge event here, and it will change to rain. This is a Tuesday event, so we have Monday to prepare for it. It's a little bit of snow, and then eventually a mix, and then a switch to rain. It's enough to give us our first alert for Tuesday morning. Snow and mixed to rain. Monday night, really, it starts in the wee hours of Tuesday morning, mainly north and west of the city. Early commute affected by this. This is Leominster, Fitchburg, Worcester, Acton, Newburyport, all the way through the Merrimack Valley for that coating of snow. Then a little mix and then over to rain. Our temperatures now 27 degrees. The wind's gusting. The wind chills are in the single digits. Tomorrow plays out pretty nicely if you like wintry weather. It's cold. Only around 30 degrees, and then the clouds tighten up as we go through the afternoon. It's all dry, though. No precip expected. We'll talk about an extended forecast that has a lot of twists and turns in it. Stay tuned.
All right, Pete, thank you. We'll see you then. New tonight, Boston Marathon bombing survivor Adrienne Haslett in the hospital after she says she was struck by a car in Boston. Haslett posting this photo to Instagram tonight. She says she was hit on Comm Ave yesterday and that the crash crushed the left side of her body. Boston police tell us a pedestrian was struck on Comm Ave last night.
Now to the Kevin Spacey assault case. The actor due in court tomorrow facing sexual assault charges. Last
year, former Boston News anchor Heather Unruh accused Spacey of groping her son at a Nantucket restaurant back in 2016. And now the arraignment is finally here. Spacey will face a judge on the island tomorrow at the Nantucket District Courthouse. And that is where we find NBC10's Perry Russum. And Perry, Spacey didn't want to make this appearance.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey tried to get out of showing up for the arraignment, saying it would amplify negative news coverage, but the judge says he has to be here. It's a story of fame, power, and sexual assault transfixing the island of Nantucket. On Monday, this courthouse will be at the center of the entertainment world as Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey is arraigned. It was the summer of 2016. A busboy was finishing his shift at the club car when he asked to be introduced to their celebrity guest. The 18-year-old told Spacey he was 23, and in the criminal complaint, he tells investigators they had about 10 drinks together in the crowded bar.
They're in the piano room area of the club car. Mr. Spacey is standing in front of, and at some point, Mr. Spacey reaches behind himself and into the front of pants.
Spacey allegedly unzipped the teenager's pants and touched him for 3 minutes. The teenager never said a word, but Snapchatted a video of it to his girlfriend.
If we were to stand and count off 3 minutes, you would agree, Trooper, that's an incredibly long time to have a strange man's hands in your pants, correct?
I would agree with that.
When Spacey walked to the bathroom, the teenager ran home and told his sister, who called their mother.
Actor Kevin Spacey has sexually assaulted my son.
Former news anchor Heather Unruh hasn't spoken publicly since the criminal complaint was released on Christmas Eve.
I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't do.
Spacey published this video that day. It's been viewed more than 9 million times.
You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you?
And police have a copy of that Snapchat video. It is less than 1 second long. The arraignment is in the morning. We're live on Nantucket. Perry Russum, NBC10 Boston.
All right, Perry, thank you. And we will have live coverage throughout the day tomorrow on the Kevin Spacey arraignment, starting tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. right here on NBC10 Boston Today. Breaking news now. CBS News President David Rhodes is stepping down after 8 years on the job. In a statement on his Twitter, Rhodes says it's time for him to make a change. He'll be replaced by CBS News senior executive producer Susan Zirinsky.
Also tonight, a manhunt to find a kidnapping suspect is finally over. Everett Simpson of St. Johnsbury, Vermont, was arrested today in Pennsylvania. Police say he drove a woman and her child to Vermont, forced the woman to rent a hotel room where he allegedly sexually assaulted another person. Investigators say yesterday Simpson forced the woman and her child into their car outside the Mall of New Hampshire, which is in Manchester. Police believe he escaped from a substance abuse rehab facility. And this is new at 11. A Utah police officer with Massachusetts ties has been killed in the line of duty. Boston police confirmed that Officer Joe Shiners, who was fatally shot last night while trying to arrest a fugitive, was from Everett. He leaves behind his wife and young son.
Meantime, in New Hampshire, a fugitive was arrested today following a police standoff outside the Parkview Inn in Salem. Joseph Haynes of Tewksbury was wanted in connection to a police chase and a shooting in Haverhill. He was also believed to be in possession of a stolen car. On to sports we go. The matchup is now set. Next week, our New England Patriots will take on the LA Chargers at Gillette Stadium for the divisional round of the playoffs. And sports anchor Raul Martinez here with a look. What do you think, Raul, the toughest matchup?
Well, all three teams posed problems for the Patriots. This might be the toughest matchups. Baltimore was high on my list too, but the Chargers are a complete team led by a veteran quarterback, and their defense is legit. And they went to the Ravens' yard and sacked rookie Lamar Jackson 7 times. Baltimore had a shot late, but that de-strips the ball, and the end is over for Baltimore. 23-17 your final. Now comes Los Angeles, coming to Foxborough Sunday at 1:05 for the right to go to the AFC Championship game. In just minutes, we'll break it all down with you on NBC10 Boston Sports Live. Our guests include Sunday Night Football analyst Tony Dungy. Trenny Kuzniak from NBC Sports Boston will join me in studio. You'll hear from the Chargers after their win today. And fun fact for you, Phillip Rivers, 37. Tom Brady is 41 years old. Do the math. That's a combined age of 78. And that's the oldest ever for two starting quarterbacks in an NFL postseason game. Much more on Sports Live. Live in studio, Raul Martinez, NBC10 Boston.
Raul, thank you. The latest now on the government shutdown. Day 16, President Trump's new proposal for his border wall, a steel fence built by American workers.
It'll be less obtrusive, stronger, and we're able to use our great companies to make it.
So Democrats say they will discuss the proposal. Meantime, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says lawmakers will pass a funding measure to reopen the IRS to ensure that tax refunds are not delayed. Senator Elizabeth Warren is weighing in on the government shutdown. While out in Iowa, the senator says it's important to reopen the government so people can get back to work and get paid.
There is work to be done, and that can only happen if everyone is back at their jobs. There are hundreds of thousands of people right now who are going without paychecks. That makes no sense at all.
Warren spent the weekend in Iowa just days after announcing the launch of her presidential exploratory committee.
Still ahead, closing their doors after more than a century of serving.
What happened when customers tried to squeeze in one last meal and a memory.
And a night of firsts at the Golden Globes. A look at tonight's big winners coming up. Pete.
Shannon, some called it hail, but it was actually Graupo that fell today. A little bit of that and a little bit of snow in our forecast. Too cold temperatures to boot. Is winter making a comeback? We're back in 60 seconds.
Welcome back, everyone. One of Boston's oldest restaurants closing for good after nearly 200 years in business.
It is a story you saw first here on NBC10 Boston, and now customers are flocking to Durgan Park trying to get a final meal in.
Our Jonathan Cho live for us from Faneuil Hall. And so, Jonathan, will this be enough to save the iconic restaurant?
Well, Phil, since the announcement, business has been booming, but it may be too little, too late. Long lines and a crush of diners.
We never had this much volume.
Everyone here wants one more memory and meal at Durgan Park.
We waited an hour in line just to get a table.
But disappointed customers waiting patiently outside.
Yeah, we're not getting in.
Were turned away Sunday evening.
Because we are running out of food. I can't serve anything.
Russ Grant says he barely made the cut.
If they got enough people to re-stimulate the place, reinvigorate it, I would bet this place would make a fortune.
General Manager Patty Reyes says business is up.
Like 300%.
Since parent company Arc Restaurants told workers last week this Faneuil Hall institution would be closing on January 12th. because of dwindling profits.
Our sales have depleted.
Longtime waitress Gina Schertzer says the recent media attention and outpouring of support renewed interest in the Durgan Park story, an establishment open since the early 1800s.
Do you think there's any chance to keep this place going?
I'm hoping. I have every priest I know saying prayers.
The workers are now wondering if this recent pop in profits will be enough to turn things around and convince the owners to give it another go.
People have come from Maine, from Canada, to pay their respects.
The diners right now certainly aren't acting like they're at a funeral. This is clearly a celebration of Durgan Park.
I think that they know now how important this restaurant is to people from all over the world.
Now, the general manager says they will reload and be ready for Monday's lunch rush and for the remainder of the week. Live from Faneuil Hall, Jonathan Cho, NBC10 Boston.
Certainly wishing them well, Jonathan. Thank you. Hollywood going gold tonight at the 76th Annual Golden Globe Awards, and the fans have plenty to say online. Some of tonight's big winners. Host Sandra Oh. Oh is the first Asian woman to co-host a major awards show, taking home the Best Actress in a TV Drama Award for Killing Eve. How about that? Another big winner, Glenn Close, for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama for The Wife.
All right, up next, first alert weather. Pete, snow?
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing all these shows, by the way. We must be working pretty hard. When we're talking about winter,
Like
trying to make a comeback here, but we'll see in the long run.
All right, we're back in just a moment.
Welcome back, everybody. Time now for your first alert weather with snow in the forecast.
I was just over in the Weather Center, Pete. You said something about it getting messy?
Yeah, it looks like it a little bit on Tuesday morning. Not a huge deal here. Talking about the wind gust this afternoon, and it was something. 55 miles an hour at Rockport. Cambridge gusted to 51. Plum Island 48. In Boston, we gusted just over 40 miles an hour. Temperatures now 25 in Bedford, 23 at Blue Hill, and 22 in Portsmouth. It's going to be cold tonight. Boston should get down in the lower 20s. Our wind chill running in the teens right now as our winds are gusting to 38 miles an hour. When's this diminishing wind we talked about, right? Well, give it through the night and into the morning. That wind chill is 13 rosy degrees in Boston. 10 is what it feels like in Lawrence, and about 8 in Fitchburg, and 6 in Worcester. So where's your warm up? Well, it's back to St. Louis and Little Rock. This is the weather system to come at us. And I know what you're thinking. All this cold air, right? We're going to put it to good use and make for a messy Tuesday morning. Well, it's not like that. This is like the other systems that have come through. I think there have been 3 that have been pretty feeble in the snow department. And this will give us a little bit of a mix on Tuesday morning and maybe a little burst of snow too. The reserves of cold will be giving in to this weather system, and we will see those temperatures warm up as we go through Tuesday. So first alert for this wintry mix. The certainty is very high. We know we're going to get some mix. We may get a little bit of accumulation too. It's Monday night into Tuesday morning. The first wave of snow should break out around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Mainly north and west of Boston. The impacts the early morning commute, as in 5 to 7 a.m. Man, that's a shiny red, isn't it? All the way up through southern New Hampshire, over to Manchester, back through Leominster, and over to Newburyport and Portsmouth as well. Roads may be just a little slick. Here is the forecast as we go through early Tuesday morning. What? There's nothing there, right? This is the latest information now coming in. You can see it's pretty spotty. That's why this isn't really heavy-handed. But as we go through Tuesday, as we warm the temperatures up, we'll transition over to rain too. Not thinking major accumulation, maybe a coating in some spots. Tuesday, a lot of this will pull away into the evening, but there's one more weather system to come through on Wednesday. So the coating reserved for places like Newbury to Middleton and down into, we'll say, Woburn and Acton, Hudson to Lowell to Haverhill may have up to an inch. Rutland, Worcester in that coating. Boston is getting nothing but flakes. Our temperatures tomorrow get up near freezing. This is the day that's quiet, by the way, your Monday forecast. And then Tuesday, early mix and then showers and 41. So much ado about nothing. However, on the backside of this storm system, this is Wednesday. Now fast forward with me. On the backside of this one, this is the second one that comes through. We might get a little bit of a changeover from rain to snow. We'll have to watch this one very carefully because there is some precipitation on the backside and the temperatures will be cooling too. And it's a much stronger storm overall. Here's your first alert extended forecast. See that nice little logo we put on there for the first alert, alerting you to the fact that we might, I'm not selling it very well, that we might have some inclement weather on Tuesday morning for the commute. Windy on Wednesday. It's cold to end the week, but the pattern settles down. Look at those numbers, though. We are frigid Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. We're back after the break.
Thanks for staying up with us, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff.
And I'm Shannon Malaire. NBC10 Boston Sports Live with Raul Martinez starts right now.